Will Still is a 32-year-old manager who made a name for himself amongst the masses for achieving an 18-game unbeaten streak with Lens in Ligue 1. However, at the time, he didn't hold a UEFA Pro licence, meaning the French side were fined $22,000 for every game he took charge. But if you have social media and follow any football pages, you'll have seen that same post recycled about 400 billion times. And chances are you've seen his name heavily linked with recently relegated Southampton. In the past, his name has been linked to Sunderland, West Ham, Rangers, Hull City and even Tottenham Hotspur, but this now is concrete and it seems the Saints have found their man to take on the Championship challenge. So Will Still, as we've gathered, he's very young, his name rhymes, so what experience does he actually have? Well, it's fair to say he's worked his way up, all the way from an assistant manager at Preston North End under 14s, all the way up through the Belgian clubs to his big break in Lens. That unbeaten run included wins against Monaco away, Lens at home, and then draws to PSG twice, Nice and Lille. It was an incredible achievement. His first game was against PSG, in which his side had 24 shots and should have won. But after an impressive spell with Lens, he left and picked up the job at RC Lens after Franck Heist had joined fellow French side Nice. Now many people will look at Lens in their league position and think he didn't do anything special. What's the hype all about? And you may be right, but context is important. Still's side finished a point better than the previous season, and throughout this season they have had challenges. Last summer they lost two very key players in Brice Samba, their goalkeeper, and Elia Wahi, their goal scoring striker. In the January transfer window they lost even more key players. Kevin Danso left to join Spurs, Hasanov left to join Manchester City, and Frankowski joined Galatasaray. Samba had nearly made 100 appearances for the club and is one of the leading goalkeepers in the country. Hasanov was one of the best performing defenders in the league and arguably Europe. Danso had made 128 appearances for the club and Frankowski made 141. Over the season, this saw over 10 players join the squad and over 20 players leave on permanent deals and loans. So some big players have been lost, a relatively new squad has come in too, and those individuals were some of the standout quality in the squad. So I'd say Will Still did a pretty decent job for his first season at the club. Let's progress into the next segment of the video now though, and start really digging in deep into Will Still's style of play. First, let's look at what the data says about his Lens team and RC Lens team. To the left, we can see his Lens side in his last season at the club. To the right, his RC Lens side from this season. Let's compare. Firstly, very similar league performance in 9th and 8th. Same goal scored, with RC Lens having the better defence. The third best in the league with the most clean sheets. Both sides share plenty of crosses per 90 and rank pretty high in comparison to others. Still's RC Lens team is seen to be much more aggressive, as stats tell you Lens had more yellow cards, more red cards, more tackles won in the attacking third, and then more aerial duels won. And to round off, Lens hold on to the ball more, and both teams rank the highest for offsides. So what does this tell you? Well, it tells you both sides are very solid defensively, both sides are pretty aggressive, Lens a little bit too aggressive at times, and that both teams look to attack with runners and like to cross the ball. But it's clear to see that even with the key losses Lens suffered this year, Will Still works better with better quality. That may seem obvious, but he's also a manager that works very well with limited resources, the type of manager that overperforms, as he did with Lens. So when you pull Southampton into the conversation, that sounds very appealing in the event of a promotion for a Southampton fan. However, now Will Still tactically is a very interesting man to research, because he's extremely adaptable, which again, if you tie Southampton into the conversation, that is very refreshing to hear after the recent stint of Russell Martin. After watching numerous games of Lens and his RC Lens side, it's hard to pinpoint a formation. Sometimes it's a 4-2-3-1, sometimes it's a 3-4-3, or a 3-5-2. He simply recognises the threat of what he's coming against and adapts to it the best way he sees fit in order to prevent it. He ensures that the players know exactly what they're doing. He's a very clear communicator and makes it a high priority that he creates a good connection in the dressing room and that the players grasp a strong understanding of where they need to be and what they need to do on and off the ball. So let's start discussing a Will Still side on the ball. On the ball from low build-up, as I mentioned, this shape always varies. For example here, it's a bit of a 3-2-5 build-up with the goalkeeper joining the back line, creating a line of 4. In the middle third, once they've progressed, it's a 4-2-4 here. The left centre-back of the back three pushes wide and the right wing-back tucks in a little bit, making a 4. When playing out from the back, they look to do so short, they look to be patient as Still doesn't want his team to just hopelessly lob balls forward, but he wants his side to find that extra man so that they can progress into the next phase of play. But this doesn't mean they are rigid, stubborn to pure short passes. Players move, players rotate, and players from deep are allowed to strike the ball directly. The centre-backs can carry it forwards, but sometimes you'll see a few short passes in the aim to consume numbers in before hitting a more direct one with the space they generate. Sometimes, and quite a lot of the time, a Will Still side looks to push and attack 4 to 5 players forward to numerically match or outnumber the opposition back line. And those players move. 1 or 2 of them may be dropping in deep looking to drag away their opponents and create space, whilst others may be looking to run in behind. There's a varied approach, always. Some players are even given free roles with a task in mind. Still likes to play into his team's strengths, but also the opposition weaknesses. Throughout the season at RC Lens, there's been a bigger emphasis on central overloads and creating space in these areas in an attempt to pull away opponents but also overwhelm an opposition. Against low blocks, he instructs a player from deep to join the attack, making it a 6-man attack now, as the back line pushes high so they can counter-press effectively. Also, when their back three is high, the left centre-back of the back three in Facundo Medina actually shifts into midfield at times, with the idea that he exposes that space left, he pushes the opposition further backwards and maintains the ball. But before we touch on their counter-press and them off the ball, let's talk about how they attack. Lens this season, of course, have enjoyed plenty of crosses, the most in the league, but on those crosses they overload the box effectively, giving the winger that support, and a big part of that support is the underlapping run. Late runners are very effective, Still loves a good box crusher, but in quite a lot of the goals and chances created for a Will Still side, that underlapping run is found quite a lot, providing good variety in his attack. Within his short managerial career, Still's most prolific striker was Folarin Balogun, on loan from Arsenal. His movement and sheer speed was maximised under Still with Lens, scoring plenty of goals in transition and from attacking the box, which gives me a lot of encouragement for Cameron Archer next season. However now, this isn't to me where a Will Still side is most impressive. It's actually off the ball. Off the ball, we've seen it vary, as you can imagine. Tactically, the shape adjusts depending on where the threat is for the opposition. That could be central, out wide, or everywhere, like a team like PSG. He'll aim to eliminate that success. We've seen him use a 4-4-2 press, 5-2-3, 5-4-1, and even 5-3-2, and even 4-3-3. But it's always man-to-man, aggressive, hence why Lens have picked up the most yellow cards this year. But the press is designed to win the ball back high, and it's challenging, coordinated, and clearly very well coached. It either forces the team backwards, into a long ball, or into a mistake. It requires a lot of running, energy, and understanding, which is why again Cameron Archer will be integral to his plans. Once they've been pushed back that little bit deeper, that doesn't mean they just sit back. We can see here it stands still when a more central player has the ball like a centre back, but as soon as the ball is passed to the side or backwards, they come alive. The Lens player whose designated man gets the ball triggers the press. When the ball goes out wide, it will become a 2v1 and they look to block the pass on the inside to force them backwards. The shape is very compact and difficult to play through, and there's multiple examples of how proactive they are in the wide spaces, but also centrally. It's important for a team to have an answer when they sit deep, and we can see Lions do. They escape their half effectively, but another method that helps them with this is this. The centre-backs are hugely aggressive onto their man. They keep their distance a slight before pouncing so they don't get spun, but if they win the duel, it means they can transition from defence to attack just like that. It is extremely effective. I can already envision Ronnie Edwards doing this, then unleashing Cameron Archer through and goal. Honestly, it's a match. And when you look at the Saints squad, the manager's philosophy and style, it would be hard not to get excited as a Southampton supporter. This is a young manager with a brilliant defensive record, an enjoyable style of play, and tactical excellence blended with tactical flexibility. By looking at the current Southampton squad, this is how I imagine would be the lineup. Fernandes will likely leave, so the Saints need a 10, but the only priority signings I see are out wide, quite desperately. Still likes touchline wingers, so with Dibbling and Sulemana leaving, I imagine they'll be investing here. But Charles and Downs would be superb in the Championship. Two very solid ball winners, comfortable with the ball when carrying and passing it forward, and then a young, quick but solid centre-back partnership behind them too. When deep, you've got Ramsdale, Wood, Edwards, Downs, Charles, all from deep, who are great on the ball and can dictate. You've got the flexibility in fullbacks to play a through the back system with Manning, Wellington, Bree, and if Sugawara stays, he'll be monstrous. You've got physicality and energy off the ball paired with creativity, and to complete the side, you just need to improve behind Archer. But to conclude, I'm really excited to see Will Still and what he gets up to at Southampton. There's potential for him to have a brilliant first season in the Championship, and after tracking his progress for a good while now, I'll be looking forward to watch Southampton in the Championship next season. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. How do you think Will Still will do in the Championship next season? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.